Hello and welcome back, everyone. This is Mike. I'm the founder and CEO of SuiteDash, and my job here is to help you be more successful with software. Today we're looking at our reporting toolkit, so let's get started. All right, so we're going to go through everything, but let's start off with what we're looking at here. What you're looking at here is a saved report, which is different than default reports, and we'll explain why. This saved report is 100% unique how I want it configured. Every column on this screen was chosen. The order of the columns was chosen. I did not just build this now. In fact, I could come back here at any time with one single click. I can just click here, and now it remembers my time frame, my columns, my configuration, etc. And it loads instantly. There's no configuration because I've already saved all of that just like I like it. And not only that, but this is configured to, on a schedule, email to the proper people in my organization, or I could do it as a CSV, or I could send it to teams, or I could send it to every user with a specific role, etc. Super powerful, super flexible. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand how it all works. You can start using it right now as soon as you finish this video. But before we go further, let me just take you on a little journey, a little story about how the reporting toolkit came into being. So for years, we did not have a reporting toolkit. Now, it was a very popular feature request, but we never really started into it, and that was a deliberate call by me. And why is that? It's because reporting is easy to do, but it's also easy to do badly, and especially in an all-in-one software platform concept. So imagine the billing toolkit. We could have easily at any time created some reports that told you how many invoices were unpaid, what the amount was, etc. Made a report, wire it up to the data, ship it, and now we have a report, right? But that report only does one thing. And then later, we need a report for projects and how many tasks are completed. Then LMS courses, we need a report for the progress of each course and how many participants complete the entire course. Then we might need a report about document signing rates. And then we might need a report about appointment rescheduling rates. And then marketing opens and onboarding completions and on and on and on. Suddenly, we're creating all these disparate reports around different data structures that have no connection whatsoever. And that's what I pushed back against. So what I wanted was just one engine, one set of buttons that repeated a logic across our 16 plus toolkits. And that logic needed to be able to handle any kind of data shape, any kind of data structure, whatever that looked like. So if you point it at invoices, it'll slice and dice that invoice data. If you point it at documents, the same thing. At LMS, at appointments, at marketing, at project management, all of it can be done from one central location with a familiar set of tools. The data changes, the shape of the data changes, but the way that you work with the data does not. Now that is a harder thing to design. And that's why it never made it to production, not because we couldn't design it, but because we just weren't 100% happy with the framework ideas that we had at that time. And so because it wasn't 100% clear and we weren't 100% excited about it, other more clear, more actionable features came along, and we made those. But the problem kept working in my head and in our team's head. And I like to say you put a problem on a merry-go-round, and as that merry-go-round goes around in your head, you can see the problem from all the different angles. And as that happens over and over again, and sometimes it's in the middle of the night, sometimes it's in a quiet moment, sometimes it's just driving along in the car, and suddenly, eureka, I think I know what to do. So we took the theory and we tested it against the hardest data shape examples that we knew of, and it held. And then we tested against others, and it held, and against others, and it held. So with that challenge met, then the challenge of the data structure became the next challenge, and we worked on that in the background for months and months. But now the engine is up. The reporting toolkit, I'm proud to say, is an engine that fits all of these requirements. It's ready to go. It's already shipped with 6 reports and many more on the way, covering toolkits all across the platform, giving you powerful access to reporting in a way that fits our all-in-one concept. So now that I've overshared, let's get into looking at the reporting toolkit. All right, so let's start with the basics. How do you get to the reporting toolkit? And it's easy. You just open up the Office menu, and down here, under Payments, you'll see Reporting. So when you first get to the Reporting Toolkit, the dashboard will look very similar to this. The only difference is I have one saved report that's filed here under My Reports, and these are the default reports. So let's go to the default reports, and this is probably how it will look for you if you have data. If you don't have data, it will just look sort of empty until you build a data set that matters. So these default reports are intended to be the reports to answer the questions that businesses have most often. Every one of these is fully workable right now. You can change the time frame, say last 60 days. You can do that here as well. But here's what's interesting is you can change the grouped by at any time from time frames, but also invoice status, and target is a good one on this one, because when you close it here, now you see your revenue overview broken down and grouped by targets. This is the revenue that's been collected in euros. You can change that here. Currency is something that does not cross across reports. So if you collect revenue in more than one currency, you'll do a separate report for each currency, which makes sense because what you're trying to do is reconcile against a bank account in the end. So it doesn't make sense for us to build in some kind of conversion logic that takes your US dollar income and converts it to euros, because that would not even land in the same bank account. So that explains that. But now let's just stick in dollars for a second. So of course you can change the items that are filtered in the report. So now we have these invoices, but what if we wanted to filter by, say, one of our custom fields? And let's just use a silly one like shoe size. So if I wanted to only see reports of revenue for people that had shoe size 11, I might do that. Shockingly, nobody has a shoe size 11. So you'll see that's a silly example, but it shows how you can pare down the report based on custom fields. And for you, it might be a flag, it might be a status, it might be something that's very custom to your business, but it's possible and it's done this way. Additionally, you can adjust the columns. You can choose from all of your custom fields here, so you can make columns with each one of the custom fields that matter to you in relation to this. You can reorder them in whatever order you want. That all works here. And then you'll click Save at the end. And now you have exactly the grid that you're looking for, the reports you're looking for. And if you're happy and you're just trying to run a one-time report, you can just export the CSV right here or the PDF and you can be done. But if you want to come back here over and over and access this exact structure, this exact shape of a report, then you're going to click Save to My Reports. And now you're going to give it a unique name and a subtitle if you want. You can choose the icon and choose from any one of the icons in our icon picker, and just click Save. And now, you have under My Reports your unique name report. And if we navigate away or navigate anywhere else in the platform and come back here to unique name, it will load just as you want it. You can slide this open, you can slide this closed. If you end up with a lot of them, you can search unique and you'll come up with a name really quickly. All of this is working in real time. If you decide you want My Reports above default reports, just drag the section. If you decide you want this one above this one, just drag it up. You can click Favorites. These will be pinned to the top. You can edit, open, schedule, share from here. Now let me make sure that it's clear that things like schedule and share only apply to My Reports. So you can't do those kind of things with default reports. But once you save it to your My Reports, now you can schedule them. If you share with, let's just go ahead and do it. If I share with all the admins in the platform, let's do it that way. Or I could do it another way. You can see that. All the admins, when they come to reporting, will now see unique name under shared reports. So they will have access to it and be able to run those reports as well. Scheduling reports works just like this. Just come over to this area. Click, there's no schedules currently set. I want to add a schedule. I'm going to say monthly. I want this to be sent as a CSV. And I want it sent to Usman, or you can select any other way and click Save. And now this is going to be emailed out to Max and Usman, and everybody's happy. So now you don't even have to come to this screen and click here and then export. It's just going to arrive in your email inbox. So I won't go through every single one of these reports and every single one of these options. You're going to have a good time looking through these and figuring out what works for you and your business. But I do want to draw your attention to timesheets and billing. This is a report of timers, completed timers, and it allows you to use the time range and the report scope to build for this specific client the report scope, and now when I close this, I see this report is only for this client, has all the timers with the hours, and now I can download the CSV or I can download the PDF. But also you can use what we provided here. It's called Polished Timesheet. It opens in a new tab and it uses the platform branding from the account and presents you with a pretty nice looking polished timesheet that you are ready to print out or save as a PDF and move on to your client, probably attached to an invoice, something of that nature. This is all a work in progress. These are all things that we're refining, we're listening for feedback, and we're trying to provide you exactly what you need and exactly what you want to be the best fit for your business. So don't hesitate to send feedback. Don't hesitate to let us know what you want. You may be surprised with how fast it finds its way into the platform. So that's just a quick walkthrough of our reporting functionality. I think it's helpful for you. We're genuinely excited to deliver this to you, and even more excited to make sure that you know that now that this engine, this sort of all-in-one engine is built, bringing more and more reports becomes much more trivial because we're not building each one from scratch. We're just adjusting the data shape, plugging the data into the existing engine, and you're able to use controls and configurations that you're already familiar with because it all has the same engine underneath. So what to look for next? More reports, more business health type reports like profit and loss statements, etc., and more dashboard reporting blocks that you can add to your staff dashboards or your admin dashboards. In the end, as always, our goal is to give you ultra flexible, ultra powerful tools that you can adapt and configure to be perfect for your exact workflows. All right, so that's it for this video. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.